Okay, welcome back. Last time we saw how to solve linear equations, and now we're going to solve equations that have ratios or fractions in them. So a rational equation is an equation where at least one term is a fraction, and when looking at problems with these rational equations, basically all we do is try to simplify them into linear equations and then solve them like we did in the last example. So this is a four-step process. The first step is to note any restrictions. So one is you ask yourself, are there any restrictions? And the restrictions would be if there's a value of x that makes one of the denominators equal to 0, then that would be not allowed. But here, all three of our denominators are constants, so they don't even have x in them. So there are no restrictions in this case, because x doesn't appear in the denominator. Now in step 2, you want to find the least common denominator. That's the smallest number such that 4, 14, and 7 all divide it. And in that case, or in this case, the smallest number that has 4, 14, and 7 as divisors is 28. So our LCD is 28, and we're going to use that to do step 3, which is simplify or eliminate all the denominators first and then solve. So step 3, what we're going to do is rewrite the equation. X minus 3 over 4 equals 5 over 14 minus x plus 5 over 7. And we're going to multiply everything by 28. Okay, so that's multiplying the entire equation by 28, which is the LCD. And then we're going to cancel first, or simplify first. So 28 over 4 is 7, so this is going to be 7 times x minus 3 equals 28 over 14 is 2, so 2 times 5, minus 28 over 7 is 4, so minus 4x plus 5. And now in this next step I'm going to distribute, and I'm going to be very careful that when I distribute the negative 4, that I remember to distribute the negative sign in both into the negative 4x and into the negative 4 times 5, which is 20. Okay, so the reason there's a negative sign here is because I'm distributing this whole negative sign into both spots right there. Okay, and now I'm going to combine like terms over here. So 10 minus 20 is negative 10. So this is negative 4x minus 10 equals 7x minus 21. And now I'll add 4x to both sides. And that'll give me 11x on the right hand side, or on the left hand side, minus 21 equals negative 10. And now you're going to add 21 to both sides, and you should get 11x equals 11. And so your solution should be, or our solution is x equals 1. Okay, that completes step 3, and then the final step is step 4, and that is to check. And remember to check to see if an equation is true, all you need to do is write down the equation, and anywhere where there was an x, you plug in 1. So I'm going to kind of put parentheses there to remind myself of where the x is. So it's x minus 3 over 4 equals 5 over 14 minus x plus 5 over 7. And I'm going to plug in x equals 1 into that equation. The left-hand side is going to be 1 minus 3 is negative 2, so negative 2 over 4. And remember, the goal here is to figure out if this statement is true when I plug in 1. So the question is negative 2/4 equal to 5/14 minus 6 over 7? Well, 6 over 7, to add that to the 5/14, you want to get a common denominator. So what I'm going to do is multiply by 2 over 2 to make that negative 12/14. So this is 5/14 minus 12/14, which would be 5 minus 12 is negative 7/14. So the question you have to ask yourself is negative 2/4 equal to negative 7/14? The answer is yes, they're both equal to negative 1/2. This is really this is really like if you once you cancel 7 divided by 14, you get negative 1/2. You take negative 2 divided by 4, you get negative 1/2. So the answer is yes, this is true. Okay.